certainly doing that. And the daily word yesterday, today was appreciation, and the daily word yesterday was awareness. And I loved that, because without awareness, you cannot have appreciation, can you? The first thing that happens on our spiritual journey is that we become aware that what's gone on in our lives before, what we've thought of ourselves and other people and whatever we were trained to do or to think or to be or who we were, that may be totally inaccurate. And the first thing that happens is that we become aware of that. We become aware that maybe that voice that taught us before, of maybe hell and damnation, or that we weren't worthy, we weren't good enough, or whatever. On the spiritual journey, what happens is when it's your time to become aware and awake, something will happen that will shake you up. Something will happen that'll jingle your chain. It will. We know that, and we probably, everyone in this room has had that moment and is aware of it, and you may have had it 30 years ago, 40 years ago. So what happens then is awareness. And without awareness, we're never going to appreciate all this around us. We're just not going to appreciate it. I love that word appreciate. Appreciate and depreciate. Okay, think of those two words, if you would, for just a moment. If you have some assets, you're hoping they're going to appreciate in value, aren't you? If you buy some stocks, my husband checks the first thing he does in the morning before getting his, or after getting his coffee, is to check to see what the stock market is doing. And I know he's hoping it has appreciated. His holdings are appreciating instead of what? Depreciating. And so that's what we're doing in our spiritual life too. As we hold moments of appreciation, we are not allowing depreciation to take place. How does that work? Well, there are all these neurotransmitters, these neurochemicals in the brain, and some of you could talk this up a lot better than me. I just know this much to talk about it. But I know those neurochemicals that make you feel good. I know those, serotonin and the others. And you know what? You know what the magic is? The more good thoughts you add to each other, they appreciate, and you're going to feel better and better and better all the time. And the more other thoughts, negative thoughts that you bring in, recycle, they're going to bring more of that to you. I'm not going to talk about the law of attraction today, but they're all, and we don't call it that here, but it kind of works the same way. It's a magnet. You will bring people to you according to your consciousness. Your thoughts. But today I'm talking about appreciation. How does that differ from gratitude? Well, let's think just a moment. Gratitude, absolutely. I am grateful. Feel the difference, just a little tiny bit of difference about appreciation. Appreciation really takes it a little further, and I am appreciating my life at every moment, appreciating everything that's going on. And in appreciating, I'm bringing more good in, am I not? Instead of depreciating. So I'm going to continue appreciating. On my morning walk this morning, I didn't walk quite as far because I didn't have quite as much time. I actually needed to get ready to come here. And as I was walking down the beach, I just had this word in my mind, and I was appreciating everything I saw. Everything. On the sand close to the pier, they have volleyball nets set up where young people come and play volleyball. Everybody these days is going to the beach because they're at home and there are not as many things to do, right? So the beaches are just covered. I love it, I love it, I love it. Some people leave a little debris behind. I saw some children's sandals and flip-flops, and it just made me joyful to know that they had been there having a wonderful time yesterday. And then as I'm walking back toward the house, the men that work for the county and keep the grounds clean, they're joyfully gathering the trash and getting it ready for the truck to come by and pick it up. And just as joyful as they can be, the one man looked at me, he said, "I love my job." And I love for him to have that job, and it is a job. And that's something to be joyful for, isn't it? That's something to be joyful for. He can support himself, and perhaps if he has a family. So he was joyful for that, even though it was picking up trash, but he was seeing it as a job where he's picking up the leavings of people that had extreme joy. Extreme joy. So right now, what we've been given, and I know some of you are at home alone, and you need maybe to work a little harder at that. We've been given a timeout. We've been given a timeout from this hectic pace that we've been living the last few years. All the meetings, all of the different things we felt that we needed to do. Did we really need to do that? We've been given a timeout to stay home, to heal, and decide what we want our new normal to be. Appreciate all the good we've had in our lives, and decide how we can keep that and bring more if we want. Appreciate the time we've been given right now. Father Henry Nguyen said to be grateful for the good things that happen in our lives is easy, but to be grateful for all of our lives, the good as well as the bad, the moments of joy as well as the moments of sorrow, the successes as well as the failures. That requires hard work, spiritual work. We're grateful. When we say thank you to all that has brought us to this present moment. It's like going to a banquet and you know all the exquisite foods that are on that banquet table. Are you someone that appreciates all that's there? Or are you the one that's looking for that one dish that they didn't serve today? So you can have something to complain about. Give you a moment to think about that. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about a lot of banquet tables I'd like to see right now, but unfortunately, they're not with us unless we prepare it. And I have prepared quite a few banquet tables during this time, and I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed doing that, having the family over. Garrison Keeler tells the story of a grandmother who was walking along the beach with her 5-year-old grandson when suddenly a rogue wave came in and carried him out. She screamed, shaking her fist at the sky and demanding that God return the innocent child. And just then, another rogue wave brought him back. Deposits the child unharmed at her feet. She gathers him into her arms, looks back up at the sky and says, "This child had a hat." Where is it? We have to celebrate life, count our blessings. We have to be grateful for the simple gifts, being alive, being loved, being called to love and to serve. These are lovely directives. But the truth is, we don't have to be appreciative, do we? And sometimes we're not. So I'm just going to encourage you with that bit of science I was talking about earlier. Activate that those feel-good chemicals in your brain. You will begin to notice a difference. Guaranteed. We've all had times of loss, and we've all had times of depression, and sometimes deep depression over that loss that we thought we would never recover from. And it was putting one pleasant thought in front of the other that enabled us to go forward and to one day be joyful again. There's an older man says that when he was quite young, he was diagnosed with the same genetic lung disease that took the life of his brother. When he entered hospice care at home, he wrote, "I find myself caught by suffering, physical pain, emotional despair, mental anguish." He says, "I then close my eyes and enter what seems like a dark basement with only a flashlight, and I begin to search around. And I'm looking for any light place in that dark basement." And he says, before long, more light appears, and then more, and then more. And the next thing you know, I find that my pain is manageable. And my spirit rises. He said, as I do this, I try to open the crack just a little more and more and more. As I do, I find that the light gets brighter, the space gets larger. It becomes bright enough to remind me that I am always spirit, I'm always love, I'm always light. I let that awareness grow until it has the upper hand. Everywhere we look, every tree, every cloud, every body of water, every reflection of light, every human's face, something to appreciate and to be thankful for. There was another grandmother of a different sort that was walking her 3-year-old granddaughter through a wood, and they came upon a creek. And at this creek, there was a little bridge that crossed it. And as she and the little 3-year-old were crossing the bridge, the 3-year-old just became so excited when she saw the water that she laid down on the planks and just kept exclaiming her excitement over this flowing water coming by. And so the grandmother appreciated this so much, and 3 times she tried to get her away from the water, but she was just so amazed by it. She could hardly move forward. I wish we could be like that little 3-year-old and wring every ounce of life out of this life we've been given. Alan Cohen, another spiritual teacher, tells of a time when he was painting his porch and he was almost finished and he had only a few more planks, and he looked down in his bucket of paint and there wasn't much left. And he's saying, "Oh my goodness, I hope I can have enough paint for my brush to finish here." And he did, indeed. He wrung every bit of paint out of that can. He said it was dry when he finished. But there's a lesson in that, and that is that we need to wring every bit of life we can out of every moment we've been given, every opportunity, every relationship, every single thing that comes your way. And I would ask you to remember this week that we are in paradise already. We already are. You just have to open your eyes and see it. Be thankful for whatever it is. Whatever job you have, whatever way you serve. I thought the music was perfect today. Every song you offered was part of this message, and thank you for that. Each and every song, I'm a gift, and I am here to serve. And the greatest gift in all my life is serving you. I hope you have a blessed and miraculous week. I hope you wring every drop of life out of every moment you've been given. Thank you for your time.